Hey folks, in this episode we will be talking about a character who is dealing with suicidal ideation. This is a comedy podcast and we may be making light of the situation. Comedy can be a way to deal with dark thoughts, but if you or someone you know is feeling up against it, please don't hesitate to reach out to someone. Call 988 here in the States or go to findahelpline.com. Needing help is not a sign of weakness, and we here at Lost on Lost want you to stick around. The world is a bigger place and a better place with you in it, and we love you.
Hi, I'm JP.
And I'm Adam.
I've never seen Lost.
I have.
I'm told that it's good.
I liked it.
I'm told that it made sense.
Sort of.
But we're watching it out of order.
So it definitely won't make sense.
But it might still be good. Since we won't expect it to make sense, we'll still be able to appreciate each episode on its own merits as a 1-hour story.
Sometimes 2 or 3.
As opposed to just a fraction of an ongoing, sprawling, and increasingly complex tangle of relationships, personal stories, mysteries, mythologies, experiments, social dynamics, unnatural disasters, unanswered questions, and hot tropical hookups.
Are you okay?
I'm not sure.
Because you lost me a little bit there at the end.
Well, good, because I've been lost since the beginning. We're Lost on Lost.
Welcome, everybody, to Lost on Lost, The Lost Effect. I'm Adam Busher, and I'm joined, as always, by a man who will be getting trashed on Listerine and filing an extension for his income taxes on April 29th, JP Russell.
I do file an extension. Almost every year. Anyways.
Because why not? That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
I do my taxes in, like, March.
You're like Ned Flanders. You do them on January 1st.
Fucking midnight with just like a stamp.
I almost forgot.
Yeah. Welcome everybody to the Lost Effect. We are in our we're in our mid-season era.
Just glowing up, baby.
This mid-season tour is going to be worth billions and billions of dollars. Today we are talking about No More Good Days, the first episode of the first and only season of the show FlashForward on ABC. Our centric character is everyone's favorite Sleepy Joe, FBI Special Agent Mark Benford. No More Good Days takes place on October 6th, 2009, 1,841 days after the crash of Oceanic Flight 815. JP.
Yeah.
Do you have a recap?
I do.
Let's hear it.
Blacking out for 2.5 minutes and the city's on fire? What is this, a documentary about Adam and I in college? A seemingly normal day for typical American FBI husband-father Ford pickup truck Mark Bedford as he goes about his day arresting international terror suspects with no backup other than his best alive pal Harold. When suddenly a global phenomena occurs. Everyone on Earth passes out, causing chaos, destruction, and I can only assume several burnt soufflés. You gotta keep an eye on those things. During this worldwide event, people see visions of the future. April 29th at 10 p.m. The world tries to grapple with the knowledge that they may or may not know their own fates. Is there no fate but what we make? Or will everyone be celebrating National Shrimp Scampi Day on April 29th like I always do? Hey, Mark, your wife is mad at you because of something you did in a dream? That's not a flash forward. That's called dating a white woman. Let's get into Flash Forward 2009 starring Joseph Finney, whatever, and definitely not the BBC Flash Forward from 1995 starring Ben Foster.
That is not the first time we've referenced the BBC Flash Forward from 1995 on this show.
I'm so excited. Adam.
Oh, yeah.
We have a guest.
Excellent. We keep roping him in.
He's back for the hat trick, right?
This is it, number 3.
This is number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Mike Traylor.
Yay.
Oh, I'm the guest.
Yeah.
I thought we were bringing in somebody. Okay, no, yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Would you like to be known as special guest? Would that be better?
Ooh.
I'm almost certain it was in my contract, but we can talk to my agent after.
You already have the M&M sorted by color. You can't taste the difference. Anyways, Mike, how the hell are you? What is new? What is going on?
I'm pretty well, all things considered. I don't know if you guys heard, but in the film and television industry, there's been a little bit of a shakeup.
Yeah.
The writers were on strike for like 5 months.
Hadn't heard.
And well, so during that time, the actors also went on strike.
Copycats. Like, do your own shit, bunch of taglines.
So I've been out of work since, how many months has it been? It's been 4 months. I've been out of work for 4 months.
And that's caused no like financial or mental stress or like anything. I mean, you've just been like eating avocado toast and drinking Americanos all day, right?
My life's great.
Yeah. Anything fun of note that you've been watching? Anything good?
I watched through the whole run of Brooklyn Nine-Nine over the last
start to
month
finish.
or so. Yeah,
God damn.
yeah. It's one of those shows where at an old job we worked on the music for it, so like periodically episodes would follow me to do work on, and so I've seen a bunch of the show. I just never watched it top to bottom, so I did that.
Nice.
And let me tell you guys, that was a funny show.
It is.
I've watched through the first couple of seasons and I fell off, but I heard that even though they're a comedy show, they did in their later years try to be conscious of some of the, like the changing landscape regarding, you know, how people feel about cops and shit like that. Like they like later on were like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't feel great about being cops or something like that. I don't know. They couldn't go all the way because again, they're a comedy show and, you know.
And it is about cops.
Right.
Right.
They just all quit and open a yogurt stand.
The last season definitely had shades of tonight on a very special episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
They just got to do the SVU thing and make all of the criminals really vile so that you don't feel bad when they're like violating their rights. I'm like, fuck yeah, Stabler, beat the shit out of that pedophile. Do you guys want to get into some Flash Forward?
Absolutely. No More Good Days originally aired on September 24th, 2009. It was written by David S. Goyer and Brannon Braga, and it was directed by David S. Goyer. David S. Goyer is mostly a superhero film guy. He has written on the Blade trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy. He did a couple of Superman movies. He did Ghost Rider Spear of Vengeance. He directed Blade Trinity. But beyond all of that shit, he wrote Dark City, which is better than all of those movies combined. So
I don't think I've actually seen Dark City. Which one is that?
So there's like this city, and it's real dark.
Detroit?
It's a movie from like 95-ish.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Kiefer
yeah.
Sutherland.
I gotcha. With, what's his nuts? With Kiefer, known tree tackler, Kiefer Sutherland.
That movie fucking rips, though. It's really good.
Oh, William Hurt. Fuck yeah. Jennifer Connelly.
Yep.
Yep. Bruce Spence? Oh, my God.
Isn't
all right, I'll shut up.
Rupert Friend the... No. What the fuck's his name? Rupert Evans. He's the main guy.
Rufus
Sewell.
Sewell, yeah.
Got it in one.
Got it in one.
And then Brandon Braga was a writer on Star Trek The Next Generation, Star Trek Voyager, Star Trek Enterprise, as well as other sci-fi shows Threshold, Terra Nova, The Orville, and both of the new Cosmoses. Yep.
I hate you, Cosmeses, two pieces.
He apparently caught a little bit of flack back in the day for being sexist during his Star Trek days, but it turned out that was mostly Rick Berman, and Brandon has tried to be better in days since. So, there you go.
Well,
Flash forward.
Yeah, where do we want to start with this, man? Holy smokes.
Well, can I just say, so for the audience, Adam lent me his DVD set to watch this episode for this podcast. And just based on like the DVD box art and pictures that I saw on the internet, I would have sworn that Joseph Fiennes was Nestor Carbonell from
shit.
This would have been way better with Nestor Carbonell, because I'm going to say this right now. I'm sure Joe Fiennes is a lovely dude. There's something about his face that makes me think he's about to pass out all the time.
Yeah.
I get that. I can see that.
Like, he just looks sleepy and tired.
Yeah.
I've seen him, he's been in a lot of period pieces, and when he has to play somebody from the 1600s, I believe it because they're all anemic and never saw the sun.
Sure.
When he has to play Action Man, I don't believe it the littlest bit.
Yeah. So, yeah,
I think he's trying to act, but, we'll get into it here. I think there's some writing problems with this.
How dare you?
So,
Not to
how dare you disparage David S. Goyer and Brandon Braga like that?
Well, listen.
So, off the top, you see Joseph Fiennes' face,
mm-hmm.
and then shortly thereafter, you see a note in his gun safe that says, "You're a crappy husband. I hate you." And I see that and I'm like, oh, this isn't going to go well for this guy, is it?
I have something similar in my gun safe taped on the inside of the door. I have a Spanish Blue Eyes White Dragon card from Yu-Gi-Oh! So it's kind of the same thing.
You're trying to get that in so bad. Like, I had to cut that from another episode.
I know.
And I think you're cutting this episode, so it's probably going to stay in.
The Yu-Gi-Oh! Card stays.
The thing I thought that was most funny about this thing starting off is that we're doing the Lost on Lost effect. The reason we'll talk about the reasons why this show is adjacent to Lost at the end. But so it opens with this car wreck and all this horrifying hellscape, whatever, and then like immediately has a flashback to 4 hours earlier. I was like, flashbacks. Lost.
Right? That's what you guys like, is flashbacks, right?
We love a good
and we love
flashback.
starting with a big crash and people screaming.
That too.
We fucking love that shit.
Love that shit. This was my only note from that. The dude on fire, LOL.
That's his name, right?
There's a guy stumbling through frame and he's fully on fire. And I cracked up laughing.
And he's just like, did I hit my mark? All right.
Which brings me to my next point. But we should really recognize stunt performers at the Academy Awards.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, abso-fucking-lutely, yes.
But yeah, 4 hours earlier, open the gun safe. Yeah, I kind of forgot until way later. Okay, I've watched. Have either of you watched this before?
No.
Mike?
When it first aired, I watched the first 4 episodes, I think.
Yeah. I had watched this when it was airing until they had a mid-season break after about episode 12, and then they went off for the winter. They took a winter hiatus. I think it was 6 or 8 weeks, something like that. And then I never came back to it after, and so I never saw the second half of it. So I have some vague memories of this. I didn't remember until later that this is how Mark and Olivia interact as part of their wedded sort of thing.
Just their day-to-day.
It's totally healthy.
Yeah, right? I was like, this is... It's so kindergarten flirty thing. It's this is how children, I hate you, you're a crappy husband, I never want to see you again.
I gotta be mean to her to tell her that I like her because I'm emotionally incapable of just saying the words.
Right.
Their 3rd anniversary, he put a worm in her hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. He steams up the bathroom mirror with the shower and he writes with his finger your breath smells like a dead baby or something like that. And it's oh man, he's such a fucking romantic.
All it made me think of was later when we find out about Olivia's flash forward. I was like, you two didn't see this coming? Anyway.
Let's not spoil the end of the episode.
Right, exactly. But so, yeah, I mean, I didn't take a ton of notes for this, so we can just kind of hit the highlights here. I mean, the first 10 minutes of this is several different scenes, but it's just introducing us to all of our characters.
Our folks,
pretty quickly. We're introduced to Mark and his wife. We find out her name much later because women don't need names. We just point at them. Her name's Olivia, played by Sonia Walger, who was recently in Lost just before this.
Hell yeah.
Which is kind of neat. I like her. But yeah, we meet Mark and Olivia. We meet their babysitter, Nicole, who is coming in to babysit Mark and Olivia's child, Charlie, a little girl.
I have notes for Nicole.
Okay, let's talk. Hit it.
What do we got?
If you're going to be late, don't also be carrying takeout coffee for only you.
Right, yeah. Yeah, if you're late, you better have the carrying...
That is some millennial shit, I was late. I got my fucking Starbies, though.
Just shaking it, making that iced coffee noise.
There's something about the iced coffee and a key ring with 1,000 keys and keychains on it, that noise in particular, that's just
in the same hand as the coffee. So
yes,
it's the coffee,
yes.
all of the keys, the entire world's keys hanging from your pinky, and then your cell phone in the other hand.
Yes. And your work ID's got to be in the other hand, too. The work ID cannot be in the key ring.
No. Sorry I'm late. Well, did you bring pumpkin spice for the rest of us?
Hell. No.
The garage door's busted. Mark's gotta fix that later. Hector's like, what's up, bro? I didn't even write that down. I just remembered that dude's name was Hector, and they talked about the garage door.
So I became very emotionally invested in Hector because I was like, oh, what's the deal with Hector? Do we see him later? when they were in the car chase on the bridge and that truck flipped over, it was another landscaping truck. And I was like, oh, fuck, was that Hector? Like, did Hector, my sweet guy that I'm invested in, get hurt? And it turns it's not the same truck. There was blue stripes on Hector's truck. Hector's fine.
Okay, that's good.
Except for 2 minutes later when he probably blacked out and drove off a fucking cliff or something. But
or he was just still at Mark's house doing the thing, and then he has a flash forward, but because it's capitalism, it's just a flash forward of him mowing some other schmo's lawn. Like, it's like, I flash forward him at fucking work.
Hector's the one fucking his wife in 6 months. Let's go, baby. I need this for Hector. I'm fucking invested in Hector. Hector's the NPC that, like, the DM was just like, nah, his name's Hector. And I'm like, what's the deal with Hector? He's our new best friend.
I will die for Hector.
I'll fucking kill any of you motherfuckers for Hector.
Hector needs a W. Nah, let's let him fuck Olivia.
No, Hector's the guy who's still awake because he's like, all these jamokes are sleeping on the job. Somebody's gonna be working around here.
I got work to do.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
he's just an immigrant trying to fucking make a living for his family. Like,
I just thought of a really good joke for that scene when we get to it. Don't let me forget.
okay. You just say it now.
Because they were at a Detroit game, half of those people were asleep anyway. Suck at the Tigers.
Yeah.
Big ups to Miggy though.
Yeah, so we're introduced to all of our characters.
Yeah, Bryce, Nicole, Dimitri, Joe, Mark's partner, Aaron, Mark's sponsor.
Is he back on the wagon? He's drinking out of a thermos that looked suspect.
Blue collar. He's a blue collar, dude. He's gotta have a coffee thermos. It's all good. Why you be so suspect to my man Breon F. O'Byrne?
Because I don't know, man. Because he took it up with him to the podium while he's giving his talk, and I was like, "Is he back on the sauce?"
Let's go, juice. It's just a little bit of Java. Keep the eyes open. That guy works.
Uh-huh.
That guy's a fucking taxpayer, man. He's got shit to do.
He works full time.
He does work full time.
He's a sponsor.
He's dead inside because his daughter died at the hands of the military-industrial complex.
Man.
He's carrying a lot of shit. Actually, no. Yeah, you're right. He's probably drunk.
Yeah, I was like, is he also carrying some fucking some Jim Beam? That's my question.
Yeah, Aaron, played by Brianna O'Byrne, this amazing Irish actor. The thing that I first was ever exposed to him, I think he originated the role of Father Flannery in Doubt on Broadway.
Oh.
Before they made the movie with Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah, I think he played Father Flannery on Broadway.
I could see that.
I had been a little conscious of who he was, and so when he was in the show, I was like, oh shit, that's cool. All of a sudden he's getting some TV work, and this is probably like the last TV show he did in America.
Let's see. Who else do we have? We're introduced to some potential international terrorists, I guess.
Yeah. Dimitri and Mark are on a stakeout. They're staking out some folks. They've been chasing these guys for, what they say, months, weeks, whatever.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get on it. Dimitri calls his fiance. They're arguing about their wedding song. I'm on Dimitri's side. That song's dumb as hell.
Yeah, it's not good.
Even though it's the Queen, so... I have a mini montage here. Which just like continues to show us what everybody's up to. Like it's sort of doing like a mini ramp up to the thing.
Yeah. Oh, Dr. Varley Bryce or whatever. Like he's gonna kill himself on like Venice Beach or some shit.
Yeah. He's at the Venice Pier. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mostly know Zach Knighton from Happy Endings.
Yeah.
And I had seen this show before Happy Endings came out, and I had completely forgotten that he was in it, and I guess therefore forgotten that he's not like a comedy actor. He's just an actor,
right?
And takes the job that he gets hired for. So
he is the most average Midwest-looking motherfucker that I have ever seen on television. I was like, this looks like every IT guy that walks around my office. Yep. Like, he's just a fucking dude.
They're making a Guess Who movie, right? Based on the board game Guess Who.
Are they?
Are they?
If they are, he should be in it, and he should be like the guy, like on the card. Nicole's making out. Aaron goes to work. Penny goes to work.
That's the one time I was glad. I'm like, there's that actor's definitely not a teenager. She's got to be like 20 something. I was like, thank Christ.
That's another note that I have for Nicole. Stop having booty calls when you're supposed to be nannying a kid.
Right? Come on.
Like, is that a hot take?
9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning? Like,
am I wrong?
No.
Am I wrong?
No, not at all.
You're not even like going into a secluded. You're just like on the fucking like
Yes, on the couch at the bottom of the stairs, where the kid's bedroom is right at the top of the stairs.
Yeah,
and
right.
we learn later that the door is open.
Shirt off in front of God and everybody. Unreal.
I'm just saying, if anyone calls me for a reference, it is not going to go well for Nicole.
right.
Dimitri and Mark get made, and then there's a car chase.
Yeah, Dimitri loves yelling. Man, this guy, he's screaming into the
Sure
walkie.
does. He sure does.
He just fucking this is that like early 2000s, like we didn't know as much about the military and like people who carry guns for a living, and so it's just assumed that everyone just says like affirmative Niner and they just yell into walkie-talkies.
Okay, on that subject, a civilian, I'm a music editor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I know the NATO phonetic alphabet.
Yeah.
I would assume that an FBI agent should also know the NATO phonetic alphabet.
You would think.
And yet I wrote it down because I found it so egregious. When he calls out the license plate, he says 8 Queen Robert 722 Young. He got none of them.
Not even a little bit.
All of those were wrong.
Jesus.
Yeah. That's well also Mark when he draws his gun post event, it's the most wrongest I've ever seen someone hold a gun. Like
With his feet.
yeah, I mean it's the only way it could have been more wrong was if it was pointing at him. Yeah. Anyways, everyone passes out for 2.5 minutes.
Quick shout out to 6th Street Bridge. I also wanted to say that Dimitri acts like the dude in the backseat of the car in the car chase from To Live and Die in LA, but not nearly as good. Even though I love John Cho. But then, yeah, it's nap time. Flash forward happens. So we focus first upon Mark's flash forward.
Yeah.
It's disjointed. It's whatever. We don't necessarily understand what's happening.
Oh, I know exactly what he's doing. He's making the April Webster document.
Now, granted, the show's called Flash Forward, so I think the audience can assume what's happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's in front of a conspiracy board. He's hammered, just partying.
Like you do.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Just getting
That's
lit.
the only reason I want to be a detective.
Just so you can drink in dark rooms and be like,
I just want to pin yard to cork boards and drink. Is there a job where I can do that?
Right. I just want to have an ex-wife who's living a much better life without me.
Yeah, right.
and then he's about to get jumped by some sort of armed mercenary squad, and then he snaps out of it, and then we go back to where the beginning of the show was happening. There's a car wreck. Shit be fucked. Buses flipped over, helicopters crashing into planes, a guy driving a lime green VW Beetle steps out of his car on fire and stumbles out of it, and the car, I guess, is on fire on the inside, maybe. It's a little hard to tell.
It's basically what happens every time the Steelers win, you know?
It was unrelated to the events of the day. It was just spontaneous automotive combustion, which is a real thing.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. See, you get it.
Why else would there only be fire on the inside of the car?
He was vaping and his pen exploded. It's total chaos, as you would imagine. That said, I feel like there wouldn't be as many bad car accidents in Los Angeles because the traffic should hypothetically be not moving that fast. I feel like there would be a lot of cars crunched into each other and not that many people going through windshields.
Right.
Which happens. We find a guy on the 6th Street Bridge through his windshield. Not even on a freeway. Whatever.
Right. Like, you're going to let your foot off the accelerator. Your car's only going to be going 20 miles an hour or something.
And again, if you're on the 101 or the 110, like, you're just sitting there anyway. Your foot was probably in the brake. You're just going to creep into the car in front of you.
Everyone in LA traffic passes out for the 2.5 minutes. They wake up and they don't even realize anything happened. They're just like, oh.
Everyone is just idled into the Prius in front of them.
Yeah.
We
or
call
the
that a
Tesla.
405 nap.
Nicole hit her head falling off of the dude and goes to check on Charlie. And this is honestly the most horrifying thing in the whole episode. She goes up to the room. Charlie's there, says, "I had a bad dream." Okay, makes sense. She then says, "I dreamt there were no more good days." Ugh.
Me and you both, kid.
She came with some real red rum energy.
At least the cynicism is like being bred into that child early, you know? Like, I feel the same way.
Like, you can only imagine what she saw. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Because everybody's only, like, we find this out later, but everybody only just saw 2 minutes. What did she see in 2 minutes that she was like, good days are over forever and ever?
Everyone saw 2 minutes at 10 p.m. How old is this kid? Is she still up at 10 p.m.?
Right.
Which, I mean, I will want to come back to that point later, but
All right.
we'll get there when we get there.
We come back to the highway. Dimitri's fine. He was missing from the car, but then he's fine. Two of them locate the SUV that they were chasing. They grab a woman out of there, and then like all the passersby and everybody's like, I heard it on, like a trucker's like, I heard it on the CB. Somebody in San Diego says she just fucked down there too. Goddamn. And with a speed unparalleled, even in today's 24-hour news cycle, it becomes apparent that this is a global phenomenon within minutes after it's happened.
Right.
Even people on the sidewalk are aware. Fine.
Yeah.
I mean, this is 2010. 2009. Yeah. Twitter was already a thing.
I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just some idiot and on the 405 like wakes up and he's tweeting and traffic. He's like, damn, I just passed out of the 405. Nothing happened. Lol.
All of the influencers tweeted about it, and so everyone knew within seconds.
Yeah.
Justine broke the story.
It turns out they're not that far from Olivia's hospital, so Mark just like runs over there. Phone lines are jammed, obviously. Makes total sense. Dimitri can't call his girlfriend, played by Gabrielle Union, which we won't find out till at least next episode.
Who? Just suffice it to say, John Cho is punching outside. He's punching above his weight class.
Yeah, that's right. 100% out kicking his coverage.
Listen, I'm on the IMDb page and I see the fucking Dom Monaghan's in this goddamn show, and I'm just so mad.
I told you we were going to get to our Lost connection later.
Oh, shit, sorry.
Spoilers.
Oh, shit.
Spoilers for, I don't know, what, halfway through the season?
It's the impossibly hot chick from Bad Boys 2. That's all you had to say.
Oh, shit, she was in Bad Boys 2. That's right.
She played the sister.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Martin Lawrence's sister.
And actually, you found what I was searching for. Impossibly hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he starts running over there. He passes by a kangaroo, like... And a store doing the news about it.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like a polar bear? Like it shouldn't belong there? Like, guys, like how did the kangaroo get out? It's not like because people fell asleep at the zoo that the animal's like, now's our fucking chance. Let's go. We've had the keys this whole time.
Yeah. You got to assume that on the 6th Street Bridge there, LA Zoo is at least 6 miles to the north. There's no way that a kangaroo could have covered that distance that far, even if it would have got out. And even if it did, it probably would have just stayed in the park. Folks are getting back to work. Like, they're at a hospital. And it's like, yeah, we passed out. We lost this guy, but like, we got more people to help. So they just get back to work. People, like, it's fucked, but like, it's not like, yeah, people just get back to work.
Yeah.
It's a hospital.
Yeah, it's a hospital.
You gotta keep moving.
That's right. Don't get hung up. Also, at the FBI headquarters in Los Angeles, they're getting back to work too. Seth MacFarlane works there for whatever reason.
The fuck?
Why?
Like Family Guy's on at this point.
Yeah. It's not like he needs a SAG card.
Maybe he wanted to do some serious acting. I don't know.
I just somehow doubt it.
Or just not comedy acting. I don't know. I don't remember how many episodes he does. He might only be in this one. Or maybe just a couple. I don't know. I didn't bother to look it up because I don't necessarily care. But yeah, like I was expecting him to do a bit or like a gag or something. Like come out and be like doing a voice or whatever. But he's just like, we don't even find out his name. Might as well just be Seth.
Right. But yeah, FBI they do a nice little briefing here. They put everything together. Hey, everybody passed out for a little over 2 minutes. Fucking imagine the chaos that could happen if the world kept running without people for 2 minutes.
Right.
Every fucking plane crashed.
Yeah. They said there were like 800 some plane crashes in America alone. Like,
right.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of car accidents, a lot of,
people dying on tables, people just passing out and falling downstairs and seriously injuring themselves.
The surfers,
the
just
surfers
like face
drowning,
down in the water,
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that when he's like, help. He's like, oh, don't worry, I'm on my way. I'm a doctor. Who gives a fuck? Just hurry up. Also, the guy who's face down, he's toast. The bodies that you're running over to get to the water people, they could also use your attention. They're probably more likely to survive.
Right. I don't care if you're the fucking churro guy. Just start doing chest compressions.
Yeah.
Yeah, they figured out, they start collating data. 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Everybody blacked out. And Mark was like, well, that wasn't my experience. My experience was not a blackout. I was having what I can only feel is like a memory.
You guys, I don't feel like I blacked out. Like, I feel like I was personally attacked.
I bet you for a split second, Mark was like, what if I was the only one who had a
Right.
I'm the center of the world. I am
Right.
I am a white
Right.
government agent. I have power. I had a vision. And then Seth MacFarlane's like, I, a white man, also had a vision.
Yeah, but
and they're
like,
oh shit.
yeah, and they're, it's like, it's interesting because, they do a little like, well, I had a dream that I was in England and I was in a meeting with some broad and a bird hit the window. So they call up that broad and she's like, I had a dream where I was in a meeting with you and a bird hit the window. So you're like, okay, so this was some sort of, shared experience. It wasn't like, we're putting some validity to this.
Right. We're not just having all individual disconnected dreams.
Right,
These are, and then, they surmise that they're memories from the future. And they're able to suss out the date. People were looking at reports or newspapers or whatever. They find out that it's going to be April 29th, 2010, roughly 6 months from the day that they're in.
Yeah.
So in the initial, in Mark's, when we first see his flashback or flash forward, I thought that they did a very good job of like, they showed us what the date was going to be, but I feel like they didn't hammer it home, too bad. It wasn't heavy handed. But then over the course of the rest of the episode, it felt very labored.
They really, yeah.
Holy shit. Or the fact that Dimitri didn't have a vision and we have to say it 9 different times and fucking, well, why didn't I have a vision? It was asleep. Why did I'm dead. Shut up.
I want a vision now. Oh, and this is the other thing that I was going to come back to. Yep. I think it's at this part of the episode. It might be a little bit later. But Janice, the other FBI agent, her flash forward is she's at her OBGYN getting a sonogram.
Yeah, sonogram. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess this is also a function of watching it a couple of times to take notes on it. But I've met doctors, and you're not getting an appointment at 10 p.m. with any of them ever.
That's a fucking good point.
Well, now maybe she was also in England, and with
And so you're definitely not getting a doctor's appointment at 6 a.m. She'd have to have been in like...
I was thinking, well, just because, healthcare, you can just see a doctor anytime. I don't know.
I had a doctor appointment yesterday that I had to schedule in fucking August.
Do you think that there's anybody that had a flash forward that literally was just watching Sandra Bullock and Jesse James's divorce because they divorced in 2010 in June?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
You want to know what other celebrity news there was in 2010? Because boy, oh boy, Charlie Sheen, remember that guy? Oh
No.
boy, Bieber fever. Oh my god.
Oh yeah,
Anyways.
Believers. Yeah. This is the first time we were here that Dimitri didn't have a vision. The first of 4,000 times.
But yeah, then we sort of start like this whole time loopy sort of thing where they're like, well, I'm investigating this case 6 months from now, and I have all of this evidence, so let's start assembling. Even if we don't know what it means yet, let's put together what I can remember. We are the task force in the future, so let's become the task force now.
Yeah, real quick, I want to circle back to Janice and the sonogram. She says incredulously, "I don't even have a boyfriend." You're an adult. I mean,
it's 6 months later, lady.
You know that's not how this works.
Right. Yeah.
You found out at the sonogram that you were having at 10 p.m. that you were, what did she say, 14 weeks
17
along?
weeks. 17 weeks.
So, about a month from now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not as good at math as I used to be, but I'm reasonably certain that 6 months is longer than 17 weeks.
Right. So sometime in the near future.
Yeah.
That's what Barry Henley just walks in and like a smooth operator is just like, oh, I totally had a dream where I put a baby in you, so
right.
Let's dick down. 4
other FBI agents were like, I had a vision where I was having sex with Janice.
While she was with her OBGYN? Yeah, it was fucking hot.
The 4 of us were in the waiting room. We were like, I wonder which one of us it is. Do you think she'll find out who the real dad is? Gross.
Next time on Soap.
Let's cut all that. Yeah, they start setting the board exactly. I think Janice says mosaic. They talk about the idea of the mosaic having some sort of website where they can collate people's experiences, start doing cross-referencing, all that stuff like that.
Build a website with Squarespace.
Hey, did a global phenomenon of everybody on the planet blacking out just happen, and you need to cross-reference dreams that you may have had during this experience? Go ahead and go over to squarespace.com. Use the coupon code Lost on Laws 10 for 10% off the first month of Squarespace.
All the tools you need to collate flash forwards from 7 billion people.
Right. Like you said, Twitter already existed, so like they would just be, dude, millennials and like if that shit happened today, Gen Zers would just be like, oh fucking yeah, 6 months from now, Henry Kissinger's still alive, idiot. Like, you know, just like nobody would be taking it seriously.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd have thousands of mosaic entries that were all jokes. Just like
Right.
Oh yeah. It would be the least reliable repository.
6 months from now, the minimum wage is still $7. Like
I bought an Arizona iced tea and the can was $1.29. It was bullshit. Dimitri thinks he's gonna be dead.
I'm fine with it.
He goes, why don't you just say what we're both thinking? I'm gonna be fucking dead. It's like Mark just gave you 5 things that he thought it was other than not being dead. You could have been asleep. Like, Mark wasn't thinking that, but now we're all thinking it. And yeah, if you're gonna be this annoying for the next 6 months.
But, like, also, he's an FBI agent.
Right.
Yeah, it's entirely possible that you could be dead in 6 months.
He could have died before the fucking blackout happened this morning on the stakeout during the car crash. Like, car chase.
I'm saying. Fuck.
Right.
A car flipped over in front of them.
Yeah.
I'm sure we get, you know, his fiance's vision, but, you know, then he's like soft launching, like, hey, what was your vision? Was I there? I have problems remembering dreams.
Do you want to know hers? Because I remember what hers is.
Yeah, sure.
She has a vision of what she believes at first is a beach wedding, but she then comes to realize later on by talking to some other people, it's his memorial service.
Nice. Fucking nice.
Sucks to suck, Dimitri.
God is punishing us, is what Nicole says.
But, like, for what, though?
Excellent question.
Dereliction of nannying duties?
I was going to say, everybody who wasn't boning during the blackout, take a step forward. Not so fast, Nicole.
Yeah. Premarital sex.
In the immortal words of my own father, it's not premarital sex if you don't plan on marrying her.
Wow.
Your dad's a fucking savage, and I love it. I love it.
I mean, he is technically correct.
The best guy is correct.
Oh my god, that's so fucking dope.
We juxtapose Nicole's doomsaying with Bryce's newfound hope-filled life, because he was like 3 seconds away from not being alive, and 6 months from now he's still alive. So he's all like, it's a gift from God. I saw balloons. I had a wonderful day at the beach. I saw several surfers drown. It was fun.
It was so cool. I got an elephant ear. They were free because the guy frying them fell into the fryer and died.
I wanted to ride the Ferris wheel, but then I realized I was at the Venice Pier, not the Santa Monica Pier.
Damn it!
It's a TV show. They would put them both together.
I 100% thought that it was the Santa Monica Pier, and I had to go back in my notes and scratch in Venice Pier when he said where he was.
Yeah.
Because I forgot that the Venice Pier is a real thing. And this is where we find out that Olivia, she's like, I saw the end of my marriage. All dramatic and shit. Don't ascribe all kinds of... You don't know. You saw 2 minutes of a thing. Okay. Like, you saw that another... That dude... Fuck. It could have been anybody. That could have been some sort of late night TV repairman.
Could have been JP.
Yeah.
So he didn't have a shirt on.
I mean, they could be in a throuple now. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's 2023.
Right.
Yeah, wait, what?
I mean, now, not then.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same thing, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's all dramatic about it. And I guess, okay, like maybe this morning she woke up and despite the fact that her and her husband regularly say to each other, I hate you, she thought that their marriage was going to last for the long haul.
6 more months.
Come back to, so it's later that night, like everything's winding down. Mark fixes the garage door, or he talks to Aaron. He's like, yeah, I was hammered, and he's like, oh shit, everybody relapses, I relapsed. You're drunk, he's drunk, everybody's drunk. But Aaron's carrying some other shit. He saw his daughter, who they believe was killed in Afghanistan, is alive, and he's with her, and so that's pretty fucking buck wild for him. Honestly, I think out of all the visions, probably the most buck wild, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if it was a prank and she was really in Afghanistan? Is that anything? Is that
No.
Guys, all right.
No.
Anyways, I'm going to keep eating this salad.
Somewhere along the line, Olivia and Bryce, they save a little boy, and he is fine. He had a tension hemothorax. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, collapsed lung.
Yeah, and they saved him, and he's fine, and he's a little boy, and they're like, we don't know where his dad is. The mom's dead, and the dad is around. Whatever.
But the kid also, like, he knows her name. Like...
Interesting.
Ooh. Creepy fucking kids.
It's funny because I know who the guy is in the thing, so I wrote that down in Olivia's flash forward. I know who that is, so I wrote down his name, even though we don't find it out there.
Yeah.
Do you want to know?
Isn't it?
It's Admiral Norrington from.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack Davenport, another great British actor. Also the father of the son of the kid. Yeah. That's how the boy knows, because she and their dad, they're getting at it or whatever. Yeah. Charlie gives Mark the friendship bracelet. He's very apprehensive about putting it on because he wants to like fight against destiny, or he doesn't want to drink because he knows his wife will leave him if he starts drinking. So if he puts on the bracelet, it's a symbol that the future is going to happen as they all saw it, despite the fact that if he would have looked closely, the friendship bracelet that he was wearing in the vision is not even close to the same kind of friendship bracelet that the little girl made. They're totally two different types of friendship bracelets. They're absolutely 100%. Yeah. They're the same colors, but they are different. Hers is like way thicker and bigger. The one that he's wearing in there is a little itty bitty one.
See, I would start abusing this knowledge like as soon as possible. Be like, well, was I wearing a cast in the thing 6 months from now? No. Guess what? I'm gonna skateboard fucking everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, do I know how to skateboard? No, but I guess I'm just invincible now.
Interesting you should bring that up. Yeah. There's another memory I have from, I think, episode 4, 5, 6-ish, something like that. The FBI headquarters gets attacked by, I think, maybe these international terrorists that they're trying to ring up. And they're in the parking garage underneath the thing, and they're in this huge shootout. And then, like, Mark and Courtney B. Vance. Did they say his character's name ever? No. Him. Maybe Janice. Maybe Seth MacFarlane are all involved. But they're all taking cover behind cars as they're taking fire. And then they all look at each other. And then they have this realization. Because they had a vision on April 29th, it means they don't die here. And so then they just all like stand up and start blasting. And I'm pretty sure it's set to like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan.
Oh my God. But then it's like I know I've made this reference before with was it Boone and Lost? I forget what it was, but where it's in like Hot Tub Time Machine where dude's gonna lose his arm, like you're just waiting for Dimitri to die, like every instance where it's like, oh, Dimitri's gonna get fucking smoked, and then he doesn't. Like, exactly. Die, you bastard.
Yeah. So whatever. They cut over to the FBI. Dimitri and Janice are working late. Janice had started to collate like closed caption or closed circuit TVs, video cameras, webcams, all kinds of stuff. And she was like, I found this really neat thing at the Detroit baseball stadium. And he's like, what am I looking at? Everybody's asleep. They all passed out. And she's like, look at that. Look right there. There's a dude walking.
Beer here.
Commerce never sleeps.
That's right. And that's pretty fucking spooky because apparently he was the only guy on the planet that was awake during the blackout. Spooky.
Spooky, scary.
It seems like she could have just said all of the stuff about. Right. I looked at all these closed circuit TVs and webcams and stuff, and then I saw this. Right. But she shows him a bunch of.
Yeah, she's got to show
I was collating all these videos and like, look, here's a bunch of video. Yeah, just to be like, he's on the phone over there and he's like, hey, Dimitri, I found a video where there's a guy awake. Come here.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh shit, I gotta go, baby. Love you. Click. And then I think the episode ends because that's my last note.
Yeah.
I'm also curious, like, there's whole parts of the world where the vast majority of people in a specific region were just sleeping, so, like, those countries are relatively unaffected.
Right. Yeah.
Their flash forwards were just them dreaming.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Or nothing.
Yeah, or nothing. So there we go. Flash forward, the pilot. No more good days.
Yeah.
Did we like it? Wasn't good. Why not? Mike?
So I forget if we talked about this before, but I watched the pilot in 2009 and, the first few episodes of the series. And I think I just didn't have the emotional bandwidth to keep watching it.
Sure.
And I kind of feel the same now. Like,
Sure.
It's fine, I guess.
Okay.
There are nits that I could pick and have over the last however long we've been recording. There were I had some notes about things that I thought they did really well, like the sprinkling in of the date in the first flash forward, and then there's a moment where they're talking about everybody's flash forwards, and Courtney B. Vance says, I was in a meeting, and then it cuts to him on the can.
Right.
And I thought that was a really nice moment of levity.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Without breaking the immersion of the show. Because what's he gonna do? Say like, oh yeah, I was taking a dump.
Right. Exactly. He's a man with a position of authority. He's just gonna embarrass himself in front of his staff in this moment of crisis. No.
Exactly. No, so like stuff like that I thought, worked really nicely. There was the bit when Olivia and Mark were in bed and like talking about what their respective visions were. And I thought that like the setup to that conversation about like, I saw the end of my marriage kind of feels like, we saw Mark drinking. So is her vision related to that in some kind of way?
Sure. Yeah.
But then she sees what she perceives as like, it's her fault that, she cheated and like that's
right. Yeah.
It's her fault that the relationship is falling apart. And so like, I guess just based on the first episode, we don't know what the first domino to fall in the end of their relationship was. And so, I thought that was pretty well set up.
Yeah.
So, there's stuff like that, but then like there's also everything that John Cho says, which was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
So, overall, I don't think I loved it, but there were some gems.
Sure. JP.
Yeah, I think the concept is very interesting. And knowing that it's only like 23 episodes, like did they wrap it up, or were they like expecting a second season and then like
I think they were expecting a second season. So I think that there is, I don't know if there's a hard cliffhanger, but I don't think things were wrapped up necessarily.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept that if it was only ever planned to be like one season, I'd be like, that's a cool like miniseries kind of thing. The dialogue in this fucking pilot is rough, and it's written rough, and it's performed really rough. And there's a lot of like pilot trope, like the scene where he's talking to his buddy from AA, and they're in like what looks like the Avatar like world because everything's green and shimmering. I'm like, what the fuck? The DP was like, this is going on my fucking reel, baby.
Yeah, and it's like, you understand that an outdoor pool would not reflect into the house like that, like even a little.
I have outdoor pools on my wall.
What if it did?
Yeah. I think that the concept is cool, but that's what we're seeing a lot of in The Lost Effect, right? Interesting concepts. Are they being executed well?
Right.
And I
fair.
have a sneaking suspicion that this is a cool concept that does not get executed well.
Sure.
So
I buy that. Yeah.
Adam.
I do not think the script is very good. That said, as a pilot, I think this, for me at least, did make me want to watch the next episode.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Was part of that because I was expecting this episode, the pilot, to be 90 minutes long? Maybe? I don't know. But I very much want to watch the next episode of this show. But that's because this 45 minutes is like nothing but exposition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It asks us a bunch of questions and introduces us to the characters. And so, now I have all these questions about what the fuck. So, I want to keep going because I do want to know the answers to these questions. That said, I have, on two separate occasions, the first time this show was on the air, and then after I bought the complete series on DVD, attempted to watch this show all the way through and never made it further than the mid-season hiatus. So So I know that it does start to drag.
Yeah.
That said, in some later episodes, there is some cool shit. Again, like them all of a sudden realizing that they're invincible and then just like becoming superheroes for that brief second in that one exchange. But then also you do get some characters characters we haven't been introduced to yet trying to buck against fate. This global blackout creates like a whole all these. Dimitri's not the only person who had no vision, and they form some sort of group. They call themselves the Visionless or the whatever or something like that. And so like kind of like a doomsday cult kind of sort of forms out of this, and they do some cool action, some globetrotting, trying to figure all this out. The one big lost connection here was, or there are a couple big lost connections. ABC's trying to capitalize upon the success of Lost by doing another mystery box show. Sure. They're trying to do a little bit of name recognition. Dominic Monaghan is not in this episode. He is in 15 of the 24 episodes. Spoiler, he's the fucking guy awake in Detroit.
I knew it! Because he's still shaking people going, I'm the bassist from Drive Shaft.
You can just hear it off in the distance. You are everybody. You are everybody. So, I like this as a pilot because I think it does what a pilot needs to do.
Yeah.
And then I agree with you, JP, that I believe that this is an interesting concept poorly executed along the line. The concept, the FlashForward, the show itself was based on a novel written by Robert Sawyer called FlashForward.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The book is great. I read the book sometime after the show had gone off the air and I had not yet purchased the DVD. I was like, oh, that's based on a book. And so I bought the book and I read the book. The book's great.
Shit.
They made one big change between the book and the show. In the book, the flash forward happens. It does still only occur for a couple of minutes, but everybody flashes forward to a period in their life 21 years in the future.
Oh, fuck.
Right. Less actionable data there. Lower stakes. Doesn't necessarily work for a television show. Whatever. What do you do with information about your life 20 years from now? You know, et cetera, et cetera. So that's, I think, why David Goyer and Brant Braga pitched the idea of having the period be that much closer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, and it's also like, it's interesting that everyone like knows this moment, like this exact, like, did everyone share the same time of day?
Well, I imagine not, because, well, you know, because it would be their time zone.
Yeah, it was all relative to their time zone.
So I think,
well, no, because I thought like the boss, because he's like taking a shit, right? But like,
you know, he took a shit at 10 p.m.
Yeah, so like it's one of those where you would think everyone, like there would be an app where everyone would be counting down the second, so everyone would just be looking at their phone, like now we've affected the future because we know the future, so now we're all counting down to the future, so everyone's just gonna be standing there like waiting for the thing to happen. It's a time loop paradox.
Well,
I don't know.
And it's interesting too because again, this happens sometime in the first 10 episodes because I remember seeing it. There's an agent who I think this is how Dimitri gets exposed to the Doomsday cult or the Visionless cult or whatever. There's a guy an FBI agent, one of the guys on the team, he kills himself despite the fact that he had a vision, thereby proving to everybody else that the visions are not set in stone. They are malleable.
Okay, I gotcha.
So,
which, like, that's a big swing, guy.
Yeah. And you know, I'm not necessarily remembering everything about it, but I feel like there were certain aspects about his life that made him want that as an out. And then he's like, "Oh, I can do two things here. I can get out of my own shitty life and also show everybody else that's still wrapped up about thinking about the future that they don't need to be."
Sure. Okay.
Do we want to spoil who it was? Because that's one of the few things that I remember about my first time watching the show.
Who was it?
It was Jet Jackson.
Not Jet Jackson. I was going to say, it wasn't somebody we met in this episode. It'd probably meet them in the second episode.
No, it was. We met Jet Jackson in this episode.
Oh, yeah. He was in the first room. That's right.
He has the titular line.
That's right. It's that guy. Yeah. One of the younger FBI agents in the first room when when Mark's like, that wasn't my experience. And Jet's like, maybe it was a flash forward.
Which gotcha. I love that he comes up and is like, in my flash forward. And that's just how it becomes branded.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's that guy. The only other thing I remembered, I didn't see this on my watch through because it happens in the second half of the show. They did in the TV show do a second flash forward event, and that one was 21 years in the future. So they replicated the flash forward from the book in the second half of the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, how about that?
And I don't know how that went because, again, I didn't see that happen. It's got to happen in like the second to last episode, you know, like right close to the end.
Has Jet Jackson ever just played a young Taye Diggs? I feel like they could do like a time loopy thing. Like they should have been in Looper.
Oh, we should have did fucking Daybreak. for the Lost effect.
But yeah, that's Flash Forward. I see the interest, I see the hook, but like we said here, I mean, if they don't execute it properly, you only get one season.
Yeah. Mike, thanks.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me. It's good to be back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fans of actual Lost on Lost, Mike Traylor will return, much like James Bond. We got him for the back half of the show, so we'll have him for a more structured episode than this chaos.
Do you got anything you want to plug, Mike?
The movie that I worked on is it's called Cinderella's Revenge. It's by the same people who made Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So it's, this like slasher telling of Cinderella.
Okay.
And so if, Blood and Honey was your thing, you might get into it.
All right.
I mean, I just want to see what them feet do, baby.
I fucking love that joke about I met this beautiful woman last night. I think she was the love of my life. We'll find her right away, Your Highness. Just round up all the women in the town and let me look at their feet.
There's a scene like with the stepsisters trying to fit into the shoe, and there's what I hope is temp sound effects that
Oh no.
were just it was awful having to listen to.
Oy, oy, oy.
All right, well, awesome. Well, Mike, thanks again for joining us.
Yeah.
Talking some Flash Forward, shooting the shit.
My pleasure.
Adam, what are we watching next time?
That is an excellent question. Next time, we once again will not be watching Lost. We are doing the Lost Effect, and this is a pretty decent parallel, which we will talk about when we get to it, but we're going to watch the pilot episode of Once Upon a Time.
This one I have some opinions on. I remember watching this one when it aired.
Same. So yeah, I have some thoughts, and you all out there, you're gonna be hearing them.
Like it or not.
Like it or not. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's what we're doing next time. The pilot of Once Upon a Time. Our central character, Jennifer Morrison, as Emma Swan.
Yeah. All right, cool.
There you go.
Well, hey, thanks for everybody for tuning into this episode of Lost on Lost.
Yeah, I'm Adam.
Now I'm JP.
You have any idea what's going on any of the shows that we watched so far?
Only the one that happens on April 10th.
Excellent. Lost on Lost is produced and edited by me and JP.
We wish to acknowledge that we live, work, and produce our show on occupied land.
Burbank, California is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Tongva, Chumash, Kizh, and Fernandino Tataviam peoples.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin is located on the traditional tribal lands of the Peoria, Potawatomi, Miama, and Ho-Chunk peoples.
And Lost was produced in Hawaii on the lands of the Kanaka Maoli.
Visit native-land.ca to learn more about the land you live and work on.
You can engage with us on IG, Facebook, and Twitter at Lost on Lost 1.
You can also email us at wearelostonlost@gmail.com or support us with dollar monies at coffee.com/wearelostonlost.
Thanks to Lostpedia and its community of contributors, Danny Schmitz, random.org, and as always, you the listeners for tuning in.
We're hosted at Podbean. You can hear us there or wherever you get your podcasts, except MySpace. We're not on MySpace.
Yet.